So this particular slide says, I just graduated with my, or what I think this is supposed to be with, my associates in medical billing and coding. I studied medical billing and coding for a hospital. I really want to do medical billing and coding in the hospital. Which one do I take first, the CPC or the CPC-H? I think Tammy has some information that she can share for not only the differences in the two credentials, but Tammy, you might mention about people who have the CPC that think they want to pick up the H. That would be another thing to mention too, because it's not like you're a CPC and you say, oh, well, I'll just pick up the H. You know, it's a little more in depth than that. But here's what she had put in here earlier. See how pleasant and pleased this coder looks? I thought that was a good slide.
Yeah, that's my. Hey. Okay, I was like unmuted.
There's a little bit of a delay in there, Tammy. When I move the screen, it'll move faster for me than it will when it's you see it. So.
Okay. Well, are we ready?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Good. All right. First, let me answer the question. I get asked all the time, what credential should I sit for? And here is my standard answer. I don't know. Which one do you want to sit for? What is it that you wanted to do? If you're telling me that you went to school and you focused on the hospital setting, then why not take the hospital credential? Now, you mentioned the CPC and the CPC-H. Both of those are core credentials through AAPC. There's a little bit of difference between the two, but not a gigantic amount of difference between the two. Do a lot of people have both? Yes, because once you take the first one, whichever one it would be, the second one's 10 times easier to take because you've already studied for 80% of it. So it makes it really, really easy for you to do that. So like Lorene and like Alicia just talked about, you know, the CPC was focused more towards the physician's office. The CPC-H is focused more towards facility outpatient. And the biggest difference in that is a little bit of usage and modifiers. We don't use modifiers in the facility like you would in your physician's office. And AAPC expects us to understand, even though we may not always have our fingers in that pie, they expect us to understand the reimbursement side of the facility coding. What happens if we don't use the right code, if we don't follow those guidelines? What happens if we put in a CPT code that has a status indicator of C on that? Well, that means we can't bill it because that's not an outpatient code. Or if we do bill it, someone's going to have to approve it because nobody's going to get paid for it. So that's the biggest difference between the two. You do have to know some very specific reimbursement issues for the facility, just like if you were studying for the CPC exam, you need to know some reimbursement issues for physicians. So it's just a little bit of difference between the two, and it's easy to get, you know, once you get the first one, getting that second one, if that's what you want to do, then that's great. It's easy. It's easy to go back to back. We've even had a couple of the CPC-Hers pass, and then it turned right around and took the CPC, and vice versa. We have a lot of students now in the CPC-H side that just got finished taking the CPC course. So, you know, go where your heart is. If you want that facility, then take the facility first. And then if you want to add the CPC, then who's to stop you from taking it, you know, again. Look, you can take as many credentialings as you want to.
Yeah.
Or that your pocketbook allows you to.
That would be good point.
You have the energy for it.
Yeah, that you have. Yeah, I don't suggest flying across country to go to California to sit for it. That's, again, we had to have been nuts to do that. Way I feel today, anyway. I don't know how Lorene's even awake.
Red Bull.
It would have to be. It would have to be. I've already had I don't know how much coffee today. I'm just trying to keep my eyes open with toothpicks. I don't know what I
thanks for joining
coded
us
today. So.
The only thing that I would add to that is I saw in the chat someone who's brand new, they're actually retired and they're getting into the field. If you had to pick one or the other and you're brand new, I would go with the CPC because it's just coding. It's CPT and ICD and a little bit of HCPCS knowledge. The CPC-H is all of that plus the reimbursement for outpatient. So if you want to just kind of get all the basics down, that CPC is a really good ground level, credential. And then if you want to add the H to it, you really just need to learn the outpatient reimbursement aspect. So that's my personal recommendation if you're brand new.
Can I add one more quick thing?
Sure, of course.
Since Boyd hasn't muted me yet. Another thing is where we live here in Louisiana, it's very small and jobs are kind of, I'm not going to say limited, but they're, they're looking for something specific here. If you're not sure, sometimes, and I'm talking about looking for the CPC-H mainly because the CPC will get you in any door anywhere. But go in there and look at the classifieds or go onto a hospital's website. What credentialing are they looking for? Then you kind of sort of know which way you might want to take it. But like Alicia said, CPC will get you in the door anywhere, whether that's with hospitals or whether that's with the office. It just depends on your area. Some areas are so huge, there's like, they're real picky, and some aren't. So
yes, and she made a point that I was going to make, and then I would add as well that, yes, get to know what they're wanting in your area, know your market, but I know a lot of people say, well, they all say CCS. Well, just because they say they want a CCS doesn't mean that's what they're going to get. A lot of times, especially in a smaller area, it's been around since the 1920s. Some of these people that are writing the advertisements don't realize that there's a CPC because they've always used the CCS. So, educate the prospective employer as to what is the benefits of having a CPC and or a CPC-H. So that's part of your job in marketing yourself. So, get out there, look, see what they want, and if you're seeing one particular credential all over the place, find out why. Ask around and get more information. So that was a good slide. We were able to give a lot of good stuff with that.
Get more CPC exam tips, coding certification training, and CEU credits. Go to www.codingcertification.org.